4-1 versus Winnipeg. And the referee for tonight's game will be Terry Gregson, working the lines, Leon Stickle and Pat Capuzzo. We're getting set for the opening faceoff, and the Canucks open with the line of Ronning, Linden, and Courtnall. Cliff Ronning dumps it into the zone. The opening seconds of period number 1 in this Select Division semifinal, and we're going to get a penalty in the opening seconds.
Jeff Courtnall is very good at drawing penalties. That's one thing. He charges right at people and makes them react. And you can see Courtnall, this hit by Sergei Boughton, as Courtnall went right at Boughton and made Boughton react.
Boughton, 2 minutes for high sticking.
And Boughton is only getting 2 for high sticking. I thought he used his glove more than his stick, but it would be a roughing call. Courtnall drawing the penalty at only 10 seconds. And now watch Courtnall right here, goes at Boughton. Boughton gets a stick up. Courtnall goes down and immediately looks at the referee. And that's a good play by Courtnall. See what the referee is going to do early in the game.
Canucks struggled on the power play throughout much of the regular season, but they were 7 for 24 in their last 3 games. 24%. That's pretty good.
And that's something about any power play. It's a matter of confidence, and they don't care how it went for the whole season. They just want to get it going for the playoffs. And you can see a little blood on Courtnall's mouth, and that's what he's looking for, that 5-minute penalty early in the game, and he's not going to get it from Terry Gregson.
Canucks have got Pavel Bure out there. There's Courtnall on the bench.
And you can see him rubbing his tongue over his teeth, and he's got a fat lip going already. I think it's going to be that kind of series. I think it's going to be a very physical battle between these two teams.
Bure, Linden, and Adams up front. Murray, Craven, and Babbage on the points. And it's Igor Ulanov who fires it down the ice for the Winnipeg Jets. 1:47 remaining in the penalty. 19:34 in the period. Opening seconds of game number 1 of the Smythe Division semifinal as Pavel Bure wheeling crosses center, dumps it in. Essenza comes out to clear it and into the stands.
And Bob Essenza is going to get a delay of game penalty. Essenza tried to play it off the high part of the glass, and he just missed. And you can see him shrug his shoulders as soon as he let that one go. He knew it was going to go over that short glass. And now the Jets 2 men short for 1:30. Now watch Bob Essenza. He's trying for the high part of the glass, and he pulls it over the short part, and you could see his reaction as soon as he let it go.
Like one of my drives on the golf course. He pulled it. And it cost the Winnipeg Jets big time. They'll now play 2 men short.
I never had to worry about that. I could never get it high enough to get it even over the boards, let alone up and over the glass. Those hook sticks, though, most goalies use them now, and if you do catch it on the hook, it's hard to control. And Essenza, you can see, pulled that one in the hook on his stick. Got it up and over the glass.
Shannon goes into the penalty box for the Winnipeg Jets, who are now playing 5 against 3. 19:20 remaining, opening period, no score. This is Babbage at the blue line to Craven. Back to Craven. Babbage to Bure. Bure shoots, and a save by Essenza. I think that shot was going wide, but Essenza wasn't taking any chances.
And Essenza knows that Bure likes to shoot the puck. He had 407 shots on goal during the regular season, and Essenza stayed right with Bure. He didn't cheat over to the middle. Look at Essenza. Plays Bure all the way. He knows Bure likes to shoot. Out goes the left hand, and why take any chances on one that close? I agree with you, Steve. It looked like that might have been inches wide.
Linden against Shamroff on the faceoff. This is Craven back to Babbage to Bure. Bure through the middle, nobody home. Craven. Babbage. Bure. Back to Babbage. Good puck control by the Canucks. Bure. That one goes off a skate. Tepanumanen. Back to Bure. Working along the side boards. Linden. Pass in front. Shot there! Greg Adams!
And Housley gamble, and then it's Tepanumanen on the 2-on-1 trying to get back, and he can't get back on Greg Adams. Nice little pass by Trevor Linden to Adams, and Adams makes no mistake in close. No chance for Bob Essenza.
So a power play goal
Lots of time,
for the
Adams.
Canucks. Greg Adams coming at 1:23 of the opening period, and the Canucks have a 1-0 lead over the Winnipeg Jets. Boughton fires it in. McLean has to handle it. I think that's the first time in the game he's had to do that. Craven tries to find Courtnall on the right side. The pass is too far. Adams with the goal. Linden and Bure assisting for Vancouver. This is Sandlak behind the net. Cliff Ronnie makes a move towards the net. To Courtnall. Courtnall with the shot. Murray Craven back into the corner. Finds Ronnie. Ronnie leaves it for Sandlak. Back to Ronnie. Craven shot. That's blocked by the defenseman from the Winnipeg Jets. Hard shot from Jeff Courtnall. Blocked there by Teppo Numminen.
And a good job by Newman. And on the forehand, Jeff Courtnall tees it up. Look at all the net he's got. Numminen comes across and takes it right in the logo, and he's able to cover up and get the whistle. Good stop by Numminen, showing his quickness. And Courtnall, a left-hand shot, playing the right side on the power play with a good opportunity robbed by Teppo Numminen.
Canucks now playing 5 against 4. 21 seconds remaining in the penalty. To Shannon. Lume with the shot wide. Essenza had to be sharp to make the second save on the rebound, and then it's cleared down the ice over the stick of Doug Lidster.
Very effective looking power play for the Vancouver Canucks. Complete control with the 2-man advantage, and even with the 1-man advantage, good pressure in the Winnipeg zone.
Greg Adams. And the Jets come forward. Good pass to Shannon from Solani. Pass in front, no Jet there to pick it up. Canucks break out. This is Anatoly Semenov at the blue line. Good move to get around the defenseman. Can't get the shot away. Essenza got a stick on it and was able to direct it into the corner. Lume intercepts. Lume shot. Save. Essenza. Semenov keeps it in. Dumps it into the corner. Looking for Gary Vaughn. Picked up by Ulanoff, and then he takes his shot, and then it's cleared all the way down to Solani. Great play by Solani. Still has it. Solani moved towards the net, lays it off. Saved by McLean, and another save on the second shot from Keith Tkachuk. 16:28 to play. Opening period. Canucks in front, 1-0.
My staff is very good.
No getting around it.
Sergei Lume takes a hooking penalty on Alexei Zamnov up the middle. Now look at this pass. There's Zamnov, and he's hooked down by Lume. A nice pass by Phil Housley, and I think Phil Housley is the best passing defenseman in the league. The zone-to-zone pass. Lume with a good penalty hauling down Zamnov.
The Jets go on the power play, 6 for 22 over the last 4 games. Zamnov working this face-off against Trevor Linden. Jets get the draw back to Housley. 47 points this year on the power play. Saved by McLean off the shot. Olofsson. Housley shot. Blocked in front. Linden tries to clear. Housley keeps it in the zone. Jamnov. That's Tkachuk in the middle. Didn't see him. Tkachuk behind the net. Back to Jamnov. This is Housley. Shot blocked by Linden. Jamnov recovers the puck on the sideboards for the Jets. They keep the pressure on. Housley to Olofsson. Back to Jamnov. Blocked in front and then cleared to the sideboards. And then cleared all the way down the ice by Greg Adams.
2 very good point men for the Winnipeg Jets, and the Canucks doing a good job playing high and making sure Phil Housley doesn't have a whole lot of room to operate.
Housley to Olofsson. And we're going to get a penalty.
An interference penalty on Keith Tkachuk as the Winnipeg Jets were trying to come up ice. Tkachuk used the old pick play on Gary Vaughn.
7, Keith Tkachuk.
And
2
he
minutes
heads to
for
the penalty
interference.
box.
The time of 4:29.
Now watch Keith Tkachuk on Dave Babich right there. He catches Babich with his foot. I thought it was on Gary Volk after the touch on Babich because Tkachuk carried on and then took a piece of Gary Volk.
It was the Vancouver Canucks who came into this game averaging 27 minutes in penalties per game, but it's the Winnipeg Jets who have taken the penalties in this opening period of this Smythe Division semifinal. 15:31 to play, first period. Canucks leading 1-0 on a goal that came at the 1:23 mark from Greg Adams, with Linden and Bure assisting. Semenoff on the faceoff against Jamnoff. Jets win it. Housley to Jamnoff. Good move by Jamnoff, but he goes down. Semenoff picks it up for the Canucks at the blue line. Semenoff plays it to Vaught. Housley along the boards. Teppo Numminen in the middle of Jamnoff. Leaves it for Solani. Can't pick it up. Didick does for the Canucks. Didick at the blue line. Shoots wide. Numminen for Housley. Housley at center ice. Tries to find Jamnoff on the right side. Jets still control. This is Jamnoff. Backhand pass intercepted. Here come the Canucks. This is Pavel Bure. One-on-one. Gets the shot away. Blocked by Boughton. Housley leaves it for Jamnoff. 14:35 to play, opening period. Vancouver 1. Jets no score. Jamnoff goes down at the blue line. Covered by Lidster. Murray Craven picks it up. Ahead for Pavel Bure. Bure, nice move, beats one man, still has it, fires it into the corner, chases after his own pass. Lidster can't control it, and the puck comes out into the neutral zone. Murray Craven goes behind Kirk McLean. Craven, 10 points, all assists since joining the Canucks from Hartford late in the season. Linden on the side boards. Back to Lidster. 22 seconds remaining in the Jets penalty. Lidster to Bure. Bure back to Lidster. Shot high and wide. Adams there for the rebound. Linden has it. Tries to get it to Adams, and the Jets manage to clear.
Short power play for the Vancouver Canucks, but again, it looks very effective. They set it up for the point shot. The shot just missed the net.
Teams are now at even strength. 13:26 remaining, opening period. Essenza tries to dump it into the corner. Jets start out. Teppo Numminen. This is King. Ahead for Ty Domi. Lume into the corner for the Canucks. Clears along the sideboards. Jets keep it in the zone. King behind the net, passes in front. Peter Nedved there for Vancouver. And the Jets are forced to clear the Canucks zone. Jyrki Lume for Vancouver at center ice. Has Sandlak in the middle, can't get the pass to him. Tied up by Ulanov. Ty Domi at the blue line. Picked off by Lume. Lume has Sandlak open on the right side. Dumps it into the corner. Sandlak goes in to retrieve it. Passes in front, and Essena drops down on it. 12:27 remaining, first period. Vancouver lead 1-0. 18 times over the course of the regular season, and it looks as if they have another sellout tonight to open the 1993 Stanley Cup playoffs against the Winnipeg Jets. Jets in control of their own zone. Clear around the glass. 12:21 remaining to play, opening period. Ronnie across to Dirk, and then knocked into the Jet zone by Linden. Footnow goes in after it. Here's a chance for the Jets as they come into the Canucks zone, led by John Druce. Davidoff losing it to Lidster. Lidster tries to clear with a backhand. Boughton tries to find Druce up on the left side. Druce one hands it ahead to Davidoff. Davidoff working against Ronnie. Picked up by Courtnall. Courtnall ahead to Trevor Linden. Linden with a good move. Makes the pass and the save by Essena off the shot by Jeff Courtnall.
And what a save by Bob Essence. Cliff Ronning was ahead of the play, and Trevor Linden tried to set up Ronning, and Courtnall was trailing, and Essence has stayed right with it. Now watch this move right here. Trevor Linden goes right around Igor Ulanov, throws it across, and there's Courtnall, the trailer, and look at Essence, just drags the leg and gets it off the toe.
The Winnipeg Jets felt they needed a big series from that man. He's been beaten once in the period, but he's come up with a couple of key saves for the Winnipeg Jets. Vancouver lead 1-0, 11:25 to play in the first period. Canucks win the draw. Diddick into the corner looking for Gary Bach. Bach being watched by Housley. Bach back to Tim Hunter. Hunter working against Janov on the boards, leads it to Bach. Hunter gets a return pass. Essenza comes out to play it. Right to Bach. Bach fires it in front. And it's cleared by the Jets. But the Canucks keep the pressure on, keep it in the zone. Here's Hunter. With a good move, the shot. And Essenza got a piece of that one. Janov backhands it ahead to Tkachuk. Shot by Thomas Steen, handled easily from long distance by McLean. Babic. Semenov has Bure with him. Fires it into the corner. Bure gives chase. Olsen. Steen. Shannon trailing on the play. Try to find Solani. Solani has it for the Jets. Back to the point. Newman with the shot. And cleared by Dana Merzen. Loaded the Canucks' outstanding defenseman by the fans. This is Craven. Craven shot!
First goal is a Vancouver Canuck. Look at Teppo Newman and stand up. That creates a 2-on-1. And there's Craven throwing it through Bob Essence's legs. Housley diving. Craven makes a good play. He looks past and then he just picks his spot. Essence has to freeze and Craven's in so close. Essence doesn't have time to react.
10 assists for Murray Craven, and now his first ever goal as a Vancouver Canuck. And the Canucks have a 2-0 lead over the Winnipeg Jets with just over 10 minutes to play in the opening period here at the Pacific Coliseum. Olsen around the board, stopped by Merzen, gets the shot away, it's wide of the target. Merzen playing alongside Jyrki Lumme, plays it off the glass. Craven ahead to Lumme. Good pass, and Bure back to Lumme, and then Lumme tried the backhanded pass, trying to find Adams. Intercepted by Bure, couldn't get the shot away. Borsato, pass, neat little pass intended for Eriksson, but he couldn't control it. Craven, drop pass for Bure. Shot, turned aside by Essenza. Craven shot from a sharp angle. Sergio Momesso tied up on the boards. And Borsato goes down. It looks as though he may have been clipped by a stick.
He's caught by Sergio Momesso's stick, but I think Momesso's stick was being lifted. Now they're talking it over with the linesmen, Leon Stickle and Pat DePuzzo, as Terry Gregson didn't see it from the other side of the ice. And you see Pat DePuzzo did see it. And Borsato is cut. And there's not going to be a call. Now here, watch, Sergio Momesso gets his stick lifted. And there's where he catches Borsato. He's only got one hand on his stick. And on the replay, it looks like Sergio Momesso, you're supposed to be in control of your stick, and you see there, he gets it lifted, and it catches Borsato. And that's very close to a high sticking penalty. And it's not going to help Luciano Borsato any, as he'll probably have some stitches during the first intermission.
No penalty call on the play against the Canucks. for Sergio Momesso. 9:01 to play. Vancouver leading 2-0 on goals from Greg Adams and Murray Craven. Canucks win the draw. Peter Nedved fired into the corner by Sandlak. Momesso goes in behind. Momesso leaving it for Nedved. And the Jets clear. Lidster behind Kirk McLean. Nedved can't control the pass. Steen picks it up. Steen passing back, looking for Chris King. McLean has to be sharp. Got a piece of it and then dropped it. Kennedy going in after it for the Jets. Thomas Steen tries to pass in front. It's blocked. Ty Domi leaves it for Steen. Steen back in front, and he had a man wide open, but they couldn't control it. Olofsson being watched by Momesso. Dumped in by Big Sergio. Long pass up the right side for Ty Domi. Domi just knocks it in as the Winnipeg Jets change on the fly. Portnoy ahead for Cliff Roney. What a late season he's had for the Vancouver Canucks. Shot from Trevor Linden, hit the post. And Essenza goes down to cover up. Wicked shot from Trevor Linden. 7:44 to play, opening period. Canucks on top by 2.
Goals, and this is their second goal post. Trevor Linden threw a screen. Bob Essenza just got a piece of it, and it goes off the post and stays out.
Wilhelm tries to clear it. Stopped by Didick, and he dumps it back into the Jet zone. Sergei Bautin to Drews. Ahead for Stu Barnes. This is Yammer. Make that Davidoff and Drews going into the corner. Ulanov pinching in. Gets caught. Portnoy. And he's dropped by Davidoff. But no indication from Terry Gregson as to a penalty call.
It's offside as Leon Stickle made that call. Portnoy put himself offside. And Jenny Davidoff is one of those players. John Paddock can't figure him out. He says he's the most talented Soviet he has on his team, and that includes Alexei Zhamnov. But Davidoff just doesn't come to play every night, and he says he doesn't know what situation it is, but he says some nights he's the best player on the ice, and then other nights he says he would rather have him sitting in the press box, and he's done that a few times to Davidoff.
Lume clears it in for the Vancouver Canucks. Vaught picks it up on the left side, chasing after it. Gets the backhand pass to Tim Hunter. Back to Vaught. Vaught running out of gas. Bodied by Zhamnov. Hunter keeps it in position for the Canucks. The Jets hemmed in their own zone. Teams playing 5-on-5. 6:42 to play. Opening period, Canucks lead 2-0.
Hey, look at John Paddock. There's his best line being hemmed in by the Vancouver Canucks' fourth line tonight, Semenov, Hunter, and Gary Volk. And you have to wonder whether John Paddock is thinking, well, here's another one where the Vancouver Canucks are going to dominate. And if the Vancouver Canucks get the next goal, it just might be one of those games.
Canucks send out Greg Adams, Murray Craven, and Pavel Bure, their top line. Lume and Dana Merzen on defense. Thomas Steen at center for the Winnipeg Jets, working this face-off against Murray Craven. Jets get it. Plays it ahead to Shannon. Craven wheels, shoots. Essenza with an easy save. Housley ahead to Steen. Steen dumps it into the corner. Shannon gives chase. Back to Steen. Steen with the pass in front, and it goes off the stick of Borsato, who couldn't direct it behind McLean. Zaponumi. Steen has it. Steen one-on-one against Jyrki Lume. And Lume forces the pass into the corner. No Jet there. The Jets come out. Lume again picks it up for Vancouver. Pavel Bure! And that was a two-line pass.
Jyrki Lume tried to set up Pavel Bure, but Bure was well offside. The long lead pass. Jyrki Lume is a good offensive defenseman, but one-on-one, he tends to leave a little physically, and you can see here he handles Thomas Steen, throws him down. As Steen tried to go wide on Jyrki Lumme. One of the reasons that Yuri Slager saw a lot of ice time this season was because Jyrki Lumme didn't have the same kind of year that he did last year.
Face-off in the Canucks zone to the left of Captain Kirk McLean. Stu Barnes will take the face-off as they do a little repair to the ice, or are they looking for something?
Alexei Zhamnov has gone to the Winnipeg Jets dressing room. We'll try and get an update before the first period's over and see what his problem is. The Jets can't afford to lose him. He's played very well down the stretch.
Called out a draw on the faceoff as Lumme brings it out for the Canucks, being watched by Barnes. Lumme goes down with Ulanov, and we're going to get a penalty.
Stu Barnes reached around on Jyrki Lumme, and this was a penalty. You know, you saw the Calgary Flames yesterday taking undisciplined penalties. The Montreal Canadiens late in the game. And look at Stu Barnes right there with one hand on a stick, reaches over and just hangs on to Jyrki Lumme. Down 2-0. The Jets can't afford to take penalties like that.
Holding the call against the former New Westminster Bruins, Stu Barnes. Canucks power play 1 for 3 tonight, and that was the opening goal from Greg Adams, that coming at 1:23 of the first period. That started the scoring for Vancouver. They followed up with a goal from Murray Craven, and that's where we sit right now. Vancouver in front 2-0 with 5:48 remaining to play in the opening period.
And that power play came with a 2-man advantage, as the Canucks had a 2-man advantage for 1:30.
Dave Babbage. Good pass from Lidster to Courtnall, couldn't control it, and the Jets cleared. Babbage playing in his 63rd playoff game. It's not all of that with Vancouver, of course. Babbage. Shot from well out into the corner. Essenza has to come out and play it. Sandline to Lidster. Nobody there to keep it in the zone, and it's cleared by the Jets, who are doing a very effective job of killing this penalty. 1:09 remaining in the holding penalty to Stu Barnes. 4:50 remaining in the first period. Lumme. Pass intended for Adams. Eriksson clears ahead to Thomas Steen. Steen one-on-one against Craven. Steen goes down. Lumme comes up with the puck for Vancouver. Lumme to Craven. Ahead to Linden. Good poke check there by Butsy Eriksson.
The Vancouver Canucks, as you mentioned, Steve, have come on in their recent games with the man advantage, but overall you see that 17.3%. And most teams, when you start the season, they look at that 20% mark. They want to finish around there. You'll be in the middle of the pack, and that's a pretty good average. 17.3 is not very good, and that has been, for the entire season, part of the Canucks' problem. And the Winnipeg Jets, 21%, very respectable, and that has been going for the Winnipeg Jets about that clip all season long.
Trevor Linden takes the face-off for the Vancouver Canucks against Borsato. Craven behind the net. 34 seconds remaining in the penalty to Barnes. Craven dumps it in. Adams chasing it. Burray tries to get a stick on it. Linden is there. Good hit from Linden on Newman. And Terry Gregson was about 10 feet from that hit, and he saw it differently. 4:04 remaining to play, opening period. Canucks
15:56, and watch this hit right here from behind, and that's the boarding penalty. And look at Terry Gregson. He didn't get the arm up right away, but he eventually did, and the Winnipeg Jets in 14 seconds will have a power play.
Bill Housley comes out in front of Bob Essenza. This is what Housley does so well, quarterbacking the power play when the Jets have the man advantage. Olsen being watched by Bach. Bach doing a good job against Olsen and forcing Olsen to go all the way back into his own zone. Jets with a man advantage. Housley at his own blue line. Long shot. McLean forced to make the save on that one. And again, the Canucks clear. This is Semenov one-on-one against Housley, and Housley with a neat little poke check. Semenov goes down. Tkachuk for the Jets. Has Jamnov in the middle. Solani wide left. Olsen. The big shot, and it was tipped by a Canuck high over the head of McLean. Jamnov back to Housley. Housley. Olsen with the shot. Couldn't get all the wood on that, and the Canucks come out 2-on-1. This is Semenov with Greg Adams. Back to Adams, and Adams had it go over his stick. And now the Jets come back, led by Solani. Cleared by the Canucks down the ice to relieve a little bit of the pressure.
Great job on that 2-on-1 by Keith Tkachuk. He's going to the bench now. He had to come a long way to interfere with Greg Adams.
Lead pass intended for Shannon, cleared by Jyrki Lume. Here's Pavel Bure. Always dangerous in a situation like that. Plays it for Craven. Zaponominen to Housley, ahead to Shannon. Shannon at center ice, plays it on the right side. Looking for Steen, gets a return pass. McLean has it, shoots, scores! Winnipeg Jets get their first goal from Thomas Steen.
And it's a power play goal. 3 seconds left in the Trevor Linden penalty. And you look at Kirk McLean, he banged a stick on the ice as he couldn't control that little centering pass. Here's the rush. Now watch, it goes off the glass. Thomas Steen does the right thing, just dumps it at the net. Shannon's going to the net. It bounces on Kirk McLean. Error to the shortstop as he couldn't handle the grounder. Goes right out to Thomas Steen. Now watch, Steen goes to the net. There's Shannon. And Steen pulls it by Kirk McLean and slides it into the empty net. Big goal for the Winnipeg Jets late in the first period.
Huge goal coming with 2:04 remaining to play opening period, and it pulls the Jets to within 1. Steen getting the goal. Shannon and Housley assisting for Winnipeg. Time of the goal, 17:53. Jyrki Lume passes to Courtnall. Courtnall dropped at the blue line by King. Stay with us during our first period intermission tonight. Guess who is in the coaching period? Canucks in front by 1.
You talked about the great hot dogs in Quebec City. He's in Detroit tonight. The best pizza in the league is in Detroit. And I should know, I sat at the press box many times in Detroit. Great pizza there.
I wonder if by the middle of June we'll have gone through the entire menu of all the arenas in North America.
I hope so. I've sampled the fare many times.
Peter Nedved against Borsato. Jets win the faceoff. Ulanov to Boughton. King tries to find Borsato. He's not there. Omesso. This is Doug Lidster. His pass intercepted. Long shot from Dirk into the corner. Essenza forced to come out and play it. Jets not very supportive there of Essenza.
Essenza miscommunication with Ulanov and Boughton. It's hard to talk to them. No communication between the defense and the goaltender.
Oh, a hard hit there from Domi against Dirk.
And Domi is getting a penalty. And Robert Dirk, who missed some games with sore ribs, I'm sure his ribs will be aching a little bit after this hit. Now watch Domi right here on Dirk. Good shoulder and elbow. And Dirk didn't see him coming. And there's a hit, good shoulder. And Domi's getting a charging penalty, and I don't know how many steps he took. I thought that was a pretty clean hit by Ty Domi. Kept the stick down, and he only took 2 steps.
It was about a half a step too many, but like you said, John, it was a good hit from Domi on Dirk. That was a message from the Winnipeg Jets to the Vancouver Canucks that they are a different team from this time last year in the playoffs, simply because of that man along with Chris King. They are much more physical, Winnipeg Jets. 1:03 to play, opening period. Canucks on top by 1.
Last minute of play in the first period.
This is Babbage organizing behind the Canucks goal. Bure. Lead pass for Linden. Bure putting on a spurt, and Bure couldn't handle that pass from Linden, which is about 3 feet up. Babbage back into the corner, looking for Greg Adams. Tepalumna, a little move, plays it ahead for Eriksson, clears the zone. Babbage forced to come out and wheel and deal at center ice. Babbage fires it in. Essenza clears to the corner. Eriksson gets a stick on it, knocks it down the ice. Murray Craven, who has one of the 2 Canuck goals, plays it for Bure. Bure shoots it in. Bure. Canucks get a chance to set things up now. Bure, as they have the man advantage for the opening 54 seconds of this second period. Babbage almost gives it up there. Craven now with it for Vancouver. Ty Domi in the penalty box to start this second period for the Winnipeg Jets. Shannon clears it down the ice for the Jets. Kurt McLean stops it for Dave Babbage. Bure has Craven on his left. Elects to keep it, crosses the blue line, gets by one man. Bure still has, shoots, and I believe that Essenza got a piece of that and directed into the stands.
He got a piece of it off the top of his head as Bure tried to go short side, and it went off Bob Essence's face mask up into the crowd. And the faceoff's coming out, and the Canucks aren't complaining. I'm surprised at this. Now watch this shot go off Bob Essence's mask right there. And you can see Essenza, after it hit him, his head goes down and the faceoff comes outside.
Is that called using your head?
That's right, that's right. I'm surprised the Canucks didn't complain.
Cliff Ronning working the face-off against Thomas Steen. He wins it, gets it to Merzen. Merzen backhands it into the zone. Ronning for Jyrki Lumme. Cross ice to Dana Merzen. Merzen shoots it into the corner. Courtnall chasing after him. Ronning tries to get it back to the point, does. Ronning working the sideboard, shot from Merzen. Courtnall is there. Courtnall just gets the shot a little wide. And then is cleared down the ice by the Jets.
Domi back out of the penalty box, and the Winnipeg Jets really confused on that, out of position, and a good scoring chance for the Vancouver Canucks.
Lumme against Ty Domi, just back on the ice after serving that minor. Team's now at full strength. 18:26 to play, second period. Vancouver lead by 1. This is King. Tries to find Solani. Solani goes to the backhand, save by McLean. Linden tries to clear off the boards. Jets keep the pressure on. Pass intended for Courtnall is wide and goes down the ice.
That's Solani's first shot on goal, that backhand on an intercepted pass. And the thing about a star like Solani, he can do nothing for a period or 2 periods or even 50 minutes. And then when he does get a good scoring chance, it goes in the net. Alexei Zhamnov, who was injured in the first period, came back and played a shift late in the period, and he's out there here early in the second, and I'm sure the Jets fans and the Jet coaching staff is breathing a sigh of relief.
He was much more of a factor when he was on the ice for the Winnipeg Jets in that opening period than was Teemu Solani.
And you can tell by Solani's ice time that John Paddock realized that too. He was only on for a little over 5 minutes in the first period.
18:04 remaining to play, second period. Canucks in front 2-1. Borsato getting set to take the face-off against Peter Nedved. He wins the draw. Robert Dirk goes behind Kirk McLean. Dirk taken into the boards by Tkachuk. Dirk Backhands it for Nedved, can't get to it. Phil Housley goes behind his own net. Watched there by Sandlak. Jamnod hit by Sandlak. Momesso backhands it for Nedved. Nedved with a shot, deflected by a Jet in front. Solani. Nedved with a chance. Kachuk just clears it. Lidster shoots it back in for Vancouver. Teppo Numminen. Passes to Phil Housley. Housley tries to find Jamnoff. Solani gives chase. McLean well out of his net. Babbage. This is Peter Nedved. And offside. Sandlak beat him in to the zone. We'll be right back after these messages. Craven beats Barnes to the draw. Shot in by the Canucks. Craven still has it. Finally loses control. Davidoff with a pass up the left side looking for Olofsson. Olofsson gets a stick on it. John Druce chasing after Babbage. Babbage ahead to Pavel Bure, building up some steam. Shot high and wide. Rebound comes out in front. That was Dirk with the shot. This is Pavel Bure with the puck for Vancouver. Turning, finally brought down by Sergei Boughton. No call from referee Terry Gregson. Fans don't like it. Babbage shoots it back in.
Sergei Boughton played Bure very well there, and Bure knew he was going nowhere, went down, tried to draw the penalty, and didn't get it from Terry Gregson.
And icing the call against the Winnipeg Jets. 15:59 to play, second period. Vancouver in front 2-1.
We talked to John Paddock about which defenseman he'd line up. Now look at Boughton right here. He has a stick on Bure, but then lets it go. And Bure goes down after the fact, and Terry Gregson didn't call the penalty. We talked to John Paddock about which defense pairing he was going to try and play against Pavel Bure, and he said, well, he didn't really care so much, but maybe he'd try and get Teppo Numminen out there, but he hasn't so far tonight. He's had Boughton and Ulanov out against Pavel Bure.
On this face-off, coming from the left, Bob Essenza. As John Paddock looks on, it'll be Cliff Ronnie against Thomas Steen. And the Jets win the draw. Olofsson tries to find Borsato up on the boards. Cannot keep the pressure on. This is Linden. His pass intercepted. Borsato can't do anything with it. Puck rolls into the Canucks zone. Jyrki Lumme behind McLean. Plays along the boards, not cleared. Now Cliff Ronnie. 2-on-1. Ronning making his way down the right side. Ronning with the shot right into the chest of Essenza, and he covers up.
Frederick Olofsson got caught off ice, and the 2-on-1 created, but Dean Kennedy played it well, and the Canucks ended up, they had to slow the pace down as Ronning couldn't hit Jeff Courtnall with the 2-on-1 pass. And you can see Cliff Ronning gets a chance here, and he can't control the puck, and that's why he can't hit Jeff Courtnall, and he ends up taking the shot. Not a bad shot, left shot down the right side, so he's got a better angle, but Bob Essensa made the save look easy.
Cliff Ronning, 11 points in his last 3 games. He's been one of the hotter Canucks down the closing stretch. Trevor Linden working to the side boards. Ronning goes in to poke it free. Ronning working against Boughton. Linden gets in on the act. This is Ronning. Ronning, shot, saved by Essenza. Ronning again. Pass in front, no Canuck there. It's the Jets who made the pass. Ulanov along the boards. Dana Merzen regrouping for the Canucks. Playing it for Trevor Linden. Ronning there to pick up the loose puck. Loses it to Shannon. Shannon shoots it in. Looking for Ty Domi. Domi has it in the corner. Oh, a pass that McLean, I don't think he saw it. He just was in the right place at the right time.
He was lucky that didn't bounce in as McLean got square to Ty Domi, and it deflected out in front instead of into the net.
Teppo Numminen to Phil Housley. Housley taken down by Sandlot. Puck dumped into the corner by the Jets. Dana Merzen picks it up for Vancouver. 14-11 to play, second period. Vancouver lead 2-1. Jamnot pass in front. Domi couldn't get good wood on it. Housley with the shot from the sharp angle, and Kurt McLean gets the glove on it.
Bill Housley and Merzen are pushing and shoving, and one of the things the Canucks are trying to do is every time they get a chance, they're going to hit Teppo Numminen and Phil Housley. It's the old Bobby Orr syndrome that every time you get a chance to hit one of those offensive defensemen, tire them out, make them feel the pain, you try and take a run at them, and you see Phil Housley, defenseman scoring leaders, offensive defenseman. Phil Housley, Paul Coffey, Larry Murphy, all players of the same mold. Steve Duchesne, we saw him yesterday with Quebec. And those players, Ray Bourque and Gary Suter, up there offensively, but two of the better defensive defensemen in the league. Those other guys, sometimes they leave themselves open to criticism because one-on-one they're not great, but they make up for it at the other end of the ice.
And 47 of those 97 points for Housley were assists on the power play. Such is his value to the Winnipeg Jets when they have the man advantage. Right now, they're playing at even strength. We've got just over 14 minutes to play. 14:01 in the second period. Vancouver leading Winnipeg 2-1. Semenov backhands it to Lidster. Lidster can't control it. Thomas Steen trying to get at it through Semenov. This is Robert Dirk. Ahead for Gary Vaughn. Vaughn shoots it in from the right side. Semenov chasing after it. Hunter gets to it. This is Housley. Housley being bodied there by Semenov. Tim Hunter, late of the Quebec Nordique, the former Calgary Flame, acquired by the Vancouver Canucks to add some toughness. This is Solani. Solani tries to get the pass away. Kachuk is there with a quick pass. Picked off by Semenov.
Doug Lidster is limping after that hit by Keith Kachuk, and now he's headed to the Canuck bench.
Housley leading the attack for the Winnipeg Jets. Played it ahead, no Jet there to pick up that pass. This is Greg Adams. Has Craven with him. Adams still in control. Fires it into the corner behind the net. This is Murray Craven working against John Druce. Teemu Solani. High pass, looking for Stu Barnes. Barnes has it. Barnes for the Jets. Can't get a stick on it to finish. A good rush from Stu Barnes. Murray Craven ahead to Pavel Bure. Passes to Adams. Can't control it. Sergei Boutin wraps it around the boards. Druce ahead for Barnes. Barnes works his way into center. Tied up by Dave Davidge and then thrown to the ice. Pavel Bure for the Canucks. Bure, good pass for Craven. Craven shot, saved by Essinger. Comes to Bure, but he couldn't bury it. Sergei Boutin brings it out for the Jets. Plays it ahead for Davidoff. Good pass up the middle to Bure. Leaves it for Adams. Shot by Bure. Wide of the mark. Lume dumps it into the corner. Finds Bure. Kachuk backhands it out of the Jet zone to Lume. Lume trying to find Bure with the pass. Essendon plays it off the boards. This is Kachuk. Fires it into the corner. McLean gets a stick on it to prevent it going up against the boards. Dana Merzen winds up on the stick of Courtnall. Pass to Semenov. Semenov's shot is wide. Kachuk into the neutral zone. Lume there for Vancouver. Plays it to Gary Vaughn. Vaughn fires it into the corner. This is Jamnov for the Jets. Plays it to Solani. That play goes nowhere. Now Semenov with a chance for Vancouver. Shot saved by Essinger. 10:48 remaining to play, second period. Canucks lead 2-1.
Here's Tkachuk on Lidster, and he came from the other side of the ice and gets a charging penalty. Earlier, here's Tkachuk on Lidster again. And he didn't get called on the first one, but got called on the second one.
Sandlak plays it back to Ronning, to Babbage, back to Ronning. Canucks power play goes to work. Ronning, back to Courtnall, to Babbage, to Murray Craven. Cross ice to Courtnall, almost picked off by the Jets. And they finally clear to the neutral zone. Canucks forced to come out. Craven brings it back in, fires it into the corner. Ronning gives chase. Sandlak to Ronning. Ronning off the mesh, and finally the Jets able to clear.
The Jets really use their role players killing penalties, and that's why they don't score a whole lot of short-handed goals, but their penalty killing over the course of the year has been very good. And John Paddock says he'll sacrifice those short-handed goals to have good penalty killing. 11th in the league for the Winnipeg Jets.
Ronning leading the rush for Vancouver. Pavel Bure out there along with Greg Adams. Murray Craven, and now Lume comes into the play for the Vancouver Canucks. Adams. 47 seconds remaining in the penalty. Shot from Lume. Ronning was knocked down in front. Pavel Bure backhands it along the boards. And the Winnipeg Jets able to clear. Jyrki Lume. Lidster. Dumps it in. Pavel Bure to Greg Adams. Backhand pass to Trevor Linden, the Canucks captain. Kept onside by Lume. This is Lidster. Lume first times. And it goes off the glass. Bounces in front and then cleared by the Jets.
And the penalty to Keith Tkachuk with one good scoring chance. That by Lume just deflected up and over Bob Essens.
Lume passes up the middle. Bure to Semenov. Semenov can't control. Phil Housley has it for the Jets. Tkachuk back to Housley. Housley at center ice. Housley drop pass. Fake shot from Solani. And now Gauck breaks out for the Canucks. Has Hunter. Semenov in the middle. Pass to Hunter. Behind him. He didn't see the pass. From Semenov. Babbage with the shot. Goes off the stick of Gauck. Directed wide. Chance for Semenov. And I believe Essens got a piece of that and was able to direct it wide. And then a long pass intended for Tkachuk. And it'll be icing against the Winnipeg Jets with 7:58 to play. Vancouver still lead 2-1.
It's a good play here to Anatoly Semenov. Look at him hook it right there with his stick to Semenov, and a good save by Bob Essens. A rolling puck. He gets a piece of it and just steers it wide.
Shots on goal so far in this second period favoring Vancouver 7-1. And Vancouver lead 2-1 with 7:58 to play, second period. Momesso to Nedved, working against Thomas Steen. Played ahead for King. Borsato was making a move on the left side, but King elected to shoot in as the Jets make a change. Didick with the pass intercepted by the Jets captain Kennedy. He plays it ahead, looking for Thomas Steen. Sergio Momesso working down the left side. Chases it into the corner. Now Sandlak goes into the other corner. Lidster keeps it in as the Jets come on. 2-on-2. King has Domi in the middle, elects to keep it, passes back to Domi. Domi, shot blocked. Sergei Boughton for the Jets. To King. Can't control. Peter Nedved has it for Vancouver. 6:55 to play second period. Sergei Boughton being watched by Linden. Forced to make the pass. Ahead to John Druce. Druce with a good move. Gets the shot away. The follow-up shot from Ty Domi. And McLean was in the way. Shot from Ulanov. Blocked in front. Cliff Ronning just clears it. Ulanov one-hands it. Shot is wide. Stu Barnes mistimed the pass, and Trevor Linden comes away for Vancouver. It's got Court in a wide left. Essenza gets the glove on that one and pulls it down.
Essenza had a little trouble with that shot from Trevor Linden. Eye high, and you get your catching glove in front of your face, you lose sight of it. And there Bob Essenza had a little problem with that one. John Drews had a good chance at the other end, and Kirk McLean made his best save of the night. The Winnipeg Jets have counted on their youth this season. They played them a lot. Teemu Selanne, Keith Tkachuk, NHL first, 420 goal rookie scorers, and they played a lot. And here's Keith Tkachuk, Evgeny Davidov at the top. And there you see Teemu Selanne and Alexei Zhamnov down below. And there's our cohort's dog. Don Whitman's dog got in the poster. I wonder if Don charged them anything to use his dog.
And that was Don Whitman's barn that the picture of the Young Guns was taken in. Semenov unable to control for Vancouver. Phil Housley has it for the Jets, brought down by Tim Hunter from behind. No call. Zhamnov ahead for Tkachuk. Tkachuk tries to get around Buck, and there will be a penalty. Gregson has the arm up.
And there's Dana Merzen talking things over with Teemu Selanne as Selanne finished his check. Tkachuk went down. A good chance for Tkachuk to go wide on Gary Volk, and Volk just took his feet out. And the Winnipeg Jets are back on the power play. Watch right here. Volk misses the puck and then just touches Tkachuk's feet and takes a tripping penalty.
So Gary Volk will make his way to the penalty box. 2-minute minor for slashing at 14:03 with 5:57 to play in the second period.
And they're calling it slashing. I thought more of a trip. And you look at the Winnipeg Jets, and again, we talked about that 20%, the magic number, 81.7%, very good penalty killing. And the Vancouver Canucks, who score a lot of shorthanded goals, they have 18 shorthanded goals. Pavel Bure has 7, and John Paddock feels when you do try and score shorthanded goals, you give up a little defensively, and he's quite happy with his 3 shorthanded goals for, and do a better job killing the penalties.
Semenov works against Zhamnov on the faceoff. Merzen able to backhand it and clear the zone for the Canucks. Olofsson plays it ahead for Selanne as the Winnipeg Jets set up the power play. Housley. Zhamnov elects to pass back, shot, and McLean gets a pat on that and directs it into the corner. Trevor Linden brings it out for the Canucks. Leaves it for Jyrki Lumme. Lumme with the shot. Essenza got a glove on it. Housley working in front of Essenza, forced to go back behind the Jets' goal. Housley hesitates at the blue line. Shot into the zone. Babbage, easy clearance right down the middle.
And that all set up by Kirk McLean's quickness to get out and slow that puck down and give Dave Babbage a chance to clear the zone.
This is Thomas Steen for the Jets, being watched by Babbage. Craven has it for Vancouver, then loses it to Selanne, to Housley. Steen shot blocked in front, and the Canucks come back 2-on-1. This is Murray Craven. He's got Greg Adams on the right. Elects to shoot wide by inches. A big shot from Murray Craven. Now at the other end, Thomas Steen comes back. Good counterattacking by the Jets, but they can't control as Greg Adams is able to clear.
And again, one too many back passes for the Winnipeg Jets. How many times here in the second period have they had a chance to go to the net, and they've made that little pretty back pass?
15 seconds remaining in the penalty to Balk. Strange bounce in front of McLean. McLean had to be sharp to kick that one out. And now it's cleared by Jim Sandlak.
And that'll do it for the Winnipeg Jets power play again. It looked pretty dangerous, but not that many shots on Kirk McLean.
Nedved intercepts for the Canucks, gets the shot away. It's a weak one, gets his own rebound. He really didn't have much of a chance there. The Jets come back. King loses it in the corner to Dirk. Dirk then loses it to Davidov. Davidov with a pass to Boughton. Boughton's shot is wide. Peter Nedved picks it up for Vancouver, and then loses it. Good work by Davidov. Nedved manages to clear. Chance for the Jets as Davidoff goes into the zone, brought down by Doug Lidster. Lidster plays it ahead for Nedved at the tail end of a long shift. As the Canucks change on the fly. Courtnall goes in deep. This is Jamnov for the Jets. Passing, looking for Druce. Jamnov taken into boards by Lume. Lume gets the puck for Vancouver. Plays it to Trevor Linden. Linden has Courtnall. Courtnall with the shot, and Essenza is there to make the save for the Winnipeg Jets. Nighttime in Vancouver. Canucks and Jets playoff action. For the Vancouver Canucks, the man who put that sticker on the horn got danger pay for going up that high. Canucks have the pressure on the Jets. Running with a shot. Essenza turned it aside with the stick. Linden working on the boards. Ronning goes into the corner to help out. Jets try and clear, can't. Both teams poking away at it. Thomas Steen there for Winnipeg. This is Shannon being watched by Lume. Sergei Boughton plays it off the boards, tries to find some open ice. Borsato plays it ahead for Shannon, being watched by Lume. Lume overskates the puck. Shannon is there, tries to get the pass in front. Dana Merzen clears it to the line, but not out. Pass in front. Borsato was very close. And now the Canucks come out. Lume. Glove by Boughton. Neither team able to mount much of an offensive threat. 1:29 to play, second period. Vancouver lead 2-1. Pass too far for Jeff Courtnall. Boughton behind his own goal. Jamnov tried to get by Bure. Good move by Bure. Bure plays it for Adams and then gets it back. Bure with the shot from well out. And it's held there by Ulanov.
Ulanov had it tied up in his stomach. He's not going to get a penalty as Terry Gregson blew the whistle while it was still in Ulanov's equipment. And you can see Gerald Didick going to have a few words with Terry Gregson. Now here's the shot from Bure, and watch Ulanov. He squeezes it first just with his arm. The whistle's gone, and then he catches it in his glove. And Terry Gregson let him get away with that one.
Just over a minute to play, second period. 1:04 to be exact. Murray Craven, who's had a strong game for the Vancouver Canucks, will take this face-off. Shot from well out. Bure got a stick on it, but directed it high into the stands here at the Pacific Coliseum.
It's amazing how the good goal scorers can get the stick on those long, hard shots, even if they're about 2 or 3 feet off the ice. And you look at the really good guys like Solani, McGillney, and Pavel Bure. They always have that ability, that hand-eye coordination for the tip-in tries. That time Bure got a piece of it and got it up into the stands.
Davidoff and Craven on the face-off. Craven gets it, dumped into the zone by Adams. Housley behind his own net to Solani. Solani just directs it forward. McLean has to come out and play it. Didick having difficulty behind his own net. Craven comes in to help out. Jamnov gets involved. This is Solani for the Jets. Backhands it off the board. Finds Tkachuk. Tkachuk to Solani. Solani played Babbage before he played the puck. Jamnov has it for the Jets. Jamnov with a pass at the corner for Tkachuk, and he couldn't direct it behind McLean. Good pressure from the Jets. Shot there, and again McLean gets his pad on it. Canucks very sloppy in their own zone, but the Jets unable to capitalize as the whistle goes. Gregson has his hands up.
And Jamnov is down after that scrum in front of Kirk McLean. And again, we talk about the Winnipeg Jets looking for that perfect play instead of shooting. Jamnov tried to hit Keith Tkachuk beside the net with a pass when he was right in the middle, about 15 feet out. and then Tkachuk couldn't get the shot on Kirk McLean.
2.5 seconds to play, second period.
And
so we'll get the face-off in. That'll be about it.
That's about it, and that's the best pressure by far of the Winnipeg Jets have had in the second period. And you can see Zhamnov will have some time to recuperate. Here's the shot from Zhamnov. McLean the save, and there's the hit. Murray Craven. Keith Tkachuk comes in, and Zhamnov's under the pile. Here's a good save by McLean. Holds his ground, gets the feet together to make the save. And Keith Tkachuk is the one who falls on his legs as Murray Craven with the original hit, and then Tkachuk on Zhamnov's legs.
Nedved will take this face-off against that man, Thomas Steen. Face-off coming to the right of Bob Essenza. Nedved perhaps with a chance to get the shot away, and he does, right off the face-off, and there goes the horn.
Good defensive period for the Vancouver Canucks as they didn't allow the Winnipegs.
And Zhamnov, and the Canucks will counter with Hunter, Semenoff, and Vaughn. And right off the face-off, the puck is fired into the stands.
You look at the individual face-off stats, and Trevor Linden was 5 for 6. Only took one face-off in the second period.
This is Phil Housley for the Winnipeg Jets. Plays it rink wide to Tkachuk. Pass intended for Zhamnov, intercepted by Gerald Didick. Didick beats one man, but he can't beat two. Block. Quick wrist shot. Housley tries to clear to Solani, gets it back. Housley pass up the middle for Zhamnov. Zhamnov finds Tkachuk left side. Passes through the middle for Solani, and he's just ahead of the pass. Offside as they mix it up along the side boards.
Gary Volk's assignment was to stay on Teemu Solani. He did that. Followed him all the way down the ice as the Jets tried the quick transition from Phil Housley to Tkachuk to Solani. Now that was called offside. I don't know whether I agree with that one, but you see Gary Volk is right there after the whistle. Make sure Solani knows, well, hey, next shift I could be right back. Gary Volk has been in and out of the Vancouver lineup. They are a deep team up front. And it gets down to numbers. You look at Gary Volk, Dixon Ward, former teammates, and they've been alternating press box stints this year.
If you've just joined us late, Steve Armitage along with John Garrett in the booth. Scott Oak is in the studio. Good to have you with us. Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC, the playoffs. Jyrki Lumme brings it forward for Vancouver, being watched by Ulanov, ridden into the boards. Lumme turns, tries the pass, intercepted by Ulanov for the Winnipeg Jets. He gets it tied up on his skates, plays it ahead for Shannon, and it goes outside the line.
Igor Ulanov and Sergei Boutin playing together. Darren Shannon has been a pleasant surprise. He's really come into his own, like Keith Tkachuk. Uses his size. And you see a power play specialist, and like Tkachuk, he gets himself planted in front of the net and picks up the rebounds as Zhamnov and Solani play on the outside.
Davidoff out there with Steen and Shannon up front for the Winnipeg Jets. Shannon gets it on the side boards. Lumme chasing after it for Vancouver. Turns. Gets the pass up for Pavel Bure. Bure at the blue line. Craven. Shot. Oh! And Essenza had to be quick to steer that one. Pass in front. Nobody there. Essenza with the big save early in the third period for the Winnipeg Jets.
And he showed his quick legs as he reacted to that deflection by his own defenseman and got the leg out to make the save.
Ulanov plays it ahead for Davidoff. Tkachuk for the Jets at the blue line. Shot blocked by Doug Lidster. Pavel Bure for Vancouver. Working his way down the right side. Bure has two Canucks with him. Keeps it, shoots wide. Craven gets the rebound but can't direct it on net. Craven tied up along the boards. And it's blown down by the linesman, and we'll get a face-off to the right of Bob Essenza.
And I don't think the chances on goal have really been tested either goaltender. It's been pretty tight checking, but here's the shot from Murray Craven. And watch Bob Essence, the right leg. It's in, then it's out. He reacts at the last second. Greg Adams tried to put in the rebound and was stopped by the defenseman.
Murray Craven getting that big shot away for Vancouver, foiled by the Jets' Bob Essenza at the last possible second. 17:55 to play, third period. Vancouver leading Winnipeg 2-1. All the scoring coming in the opening 20 minutes. This is Hutter. Hutter gets the shot away, and Essenza gloves it down.
We saw Murray Craven. He came over from the Hartford Whalers for Robert Cron and future consideration, and there's been a lot of speculation around what that future consideration would be. And Brian Burke has said you'll be surprised that the deal has been made and excess forwards on the Vancouver Canucks, and there's been lots of names dropped about who's going to be going.
Well, drop a few.
I'll drop a couple. Sergio Momesso is one. Jim Sandlak's another one.
Puck cleared down the ice. Race for it. And Diddick touches it. Babbage missed that one.
And it's Teemu Selanne who was underneath Dave Babbage in that race for the puck. Selanne's had one shot on goal. That was a backhander in the second period, but he's had a couple of chances where he's tried to make that pretty pass. Now here's Babbage and Selanne, and Babbage just ties up Selanne. Look at him grab the stick and make sure Selanne can't touch it. Gerald Diddick's there to get the icing call. Dave Babbage has had one of those years that I'm sure he would like to forget. A hernia operation during training camp, in and out of the lineup. A couple of other injuries throughout the season. And just now starting to get back into game shape.
Canucks at the line of Cliff Ronning, Trevor Linden, and Jeff Courtnall on the ice. Doug Lidster and Jyrki Lume, the defenseman for Vancouver. Thomas Steen working against Ronning on the faceoff in the Jet zone, and the Jets win the draw. Shot from Craven, high and wide. Lidster keeps it in. Jets try to clear along the sideboards. Ty Domi out there for Winnipeg, knocked in by Jeff Courtnall. Cliff Ronning tries to play it, loses it. Pass through the middle for Domi, he couldn't control it. Doug Lidster behind the Canucks net, starts things out. The pass, that pass intended for Courtnall, couldn't get to it. Lidster to Courtnall. Close to being offside if it wasn't. Trevor Linden tries to get to it, can't. Jets come up with it. Olofsson tries to backhand it through the skates of Ronning. Ronning has it on the sideboards. And it's cleared by the Winnipeg Jets. Lidster, Dirk calling for it. Gets it, dumps it in. Ulanov ahead to Ty Domi. Domi has Barnes in the middle, elects to take the shot. McLean makes the save. McLean backhands it. This is King. Pass in front, they score! King with the shot, came out, got the puck off the boards, and beats McLean. We're tied at 2.
Chris King missed his pass. He tried to pass it out in front, and then he ended up on the wraparound. It's dumped in by Barnes, and watch Chris King go behind the net. He tries to pass right there, misses it, and then scores on the wraparound as Kirk McLean was still looking for the original pass. And watch King misses the pass and then scores on the wraparound.
So after spotting the Vancouver Canucks a 2-0 lead, the Winnipeg Jets have countered with a pair of their own, and we are tied at 2. 16:10 remaining to play, third period. Peter Nedved backhands a pass in front, looking for Sandlak. Couldn't get a stick on it. Sandlak has it for Vancouver. Backhands it to Sergio Momesso. His pass in front, looking for Nedved. Cleared by Essenza. Ty Domi tied up along the sideboards by Peter Nedved. Here's a mismatch in terms of strength. Lume. Chance here for Domi. Domi couldn't control it. Merzen was there to make the save for Vancouver. This is Jyrki Lume leading the rush for the Canucks. Babbage dumps it in from center ice. Essenza comes out to play it. Housley leading the attack for Winnipeg. Domi's been out there for a long time. Finally, it's whistled down. Tonight's game is coming to you from the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver.
Roll for Chris King with the Winnipeg Jets. He has 8 goals and 8 assists in 48 games, and with the Rangers he played 30 games and had no goals, 3 assists. He gets to play a lot more. He doesn't have to play as physically. He gets to use a little more of his talents, and he's come through with some big goals for the Jets.
That's a big goal for them tonight that ties the game at 2. Stu Barnes assisting on the Jets goal, coming at 3:43 of the third period. Newman loses the puck. Murray Craven tries a pass in front. Tkachuk ahead to Housley. Housley plays it through his skates to Zhamnov on the right side. And getting offside was Tkachuk on that rush for the Jets.
And Zhamnov takes a look at Leon Stickle as he thought he was over the blue line before he made that little move. I agree with Leon on that one, although there has been a couple of close ones here that we might be able to dispute with the linesman. The 100th anniversary of the Stanley Cup, and there's a young fan with a souvenir puck enjoying the game on Hockey Night in Canada, the playoff version, and it's great to be here. Game 1. It's almost as exciting to be a broadcaster as to be a player, Steve.
It is that. 14:43 to play, third period. We are tied at 2. This is Ulanov for the Jets. Fires it in. McLean has to play it behind his net. Dirk backhands it for Cliff Ronning. Ronning has Linden with him on the right side. Courtnall on the left. Linden goes in, tries to exert himself physically on the end boards, but missed. Courtnall, quick shot. Essenza with the quick feet again, making the save. Shannon tries to find somebody up on the left side, looking for Thomas Steen, but too far for Steen. Ronning unable to control it. Lidster goes back in support. Lidster has it again. Dumps it in. And the play is blown down.
Winnipeg Jets are alternating their lines now. Alexei Zhamnov's lines come back out, and this time Zhamnov is out with Davidov and Drews as John Paddock does a little line shuffling.
Attendance tonight at the Pacific Coliseum, 15,918. That's a little shy of a sellout for Game 1 in this Smythe Division semifinal between the Winnipeg Jets and the Vancouver Canucks. We're tied at 2. 13:51 to play, third period. The faceoff coming to the left of Kirk McLean. On the face-off against Murray Craven. Adams has it for Vancouver, plays it to Pavel Bure. Bure on a 1 against Ulanov, and a nice play by Ulanov to take the puck away from Pavel Bure. Sergei Boughton. Dangerous pass. Bure was looking. Lume can't control it. Zhamnov ahead to John Drews. Drews working down the left boards. And finally cleared along the end boards to Murray Craven. Craven through the middle for Dana Merzen. Merzen does a little figure skating there. Double Lutz or triple axel, but still couldn't control it. Dumped in by the Jets. Tricky one for McLean to handle. Lume now for Vancouver. 12:53 to play. Still tied at 2. Domi breaks that up for the Jets. This is Sandlot, showing no signs of that injured right hand, although we haven't seen him take too many shots where he's been forced to use that right hand. Backhands it in. Momesso tries to pass in front, can't. Teppo Numminen plays it to Phil Housley behind his own net. Housley's pass up the middle for Stu Barnes. He can't control it. Sandlak has it for Vancouver. Plays it to Momesso. Momesso's pass in front. And Peter Nedved Had to do some fancy skate work there, but he couldn't get his stick on it.
Phil Housley did a good job deflecting that pass, and Nedved had to reach around behind and couldn't get it.
Essenza has to clear it. Finds King, who has the second goal for the Winnipeg Jets. Momesso dumps it forward looking for Nedved. Nedved ties his man up but can't get to the puck now. Robert Dirk pinching in. Finally cleared by King as Lidster races after it. No icing called. 11:37 to play. Tied at 2. And Kennedy touches it, and we've got an icing call. Deadlocked at 2 here at the Pacific Coliseum.
Good pressure by the Vancouver Canucks. Watch Phil Housley just get a piece of this pass, and look at Peter Nedved. Spins around and just fails to make contact.
Winnipeg Jets have got the big line up. Jamnoff, Tkachuk, and Solani up front. Olesen and Kennedy, the defensive pairing for the Jets. Backhanded by the captain, Kennedy. Lume dumps it in from center ice. Kennedy. That goes off the skate of Semenoff, and he covers it up for Vancouver. Passes in front for Gary Buck. He couldn't get to it. Hutter spins Solani around. Olesen fires it in. Dana Merzen to Hutter. Hutter loses control. Olesen has it for the Jets. Good pass for Tkachuk up the middle. Tkachuk tries to go behind. Merzen does so. But Semenoff is there back checking for the Canucks. Sergei Boughton now for the Winnipeg Jets at center ice. Shoots it in. 10:35 to play, third period. Vancouver 2, Jets 2. Ronnie tips it in. Linden forced to skate out. This is Robert Dirk, plays it off the boards. Ronnie at center ice for Vancouver, has Linden in the middle. Linden now cuts over to the left side, back to Ronnie. Ronnie finally losing it, but Linden is there to help out. This is Borsato for the Jets, ahead to Ulanov. Jets with some pressure now. Shannon tries to wrap around, and McLean is down. Puck is still loose. Courtnall has it for Vancouver. Plays it to Ronning in the middle. Ahead to Trevor Linden. This is a tired line, and it showed right there. Canucks keep the pressure on. Ronning with a chance. Finally cleared by the Winnipeg Jets. Diddick shoots it in.
Both these lines on the ice desperately trying to get off.
This is Pavel Bure for Vancouver, working the left side. Good pass. Shot there. Oh, it is just tipped wide by Greg Adams. Great chance for the Canucks. This is Solani, has it stripped by Craven. Craven ahead for Greg Adams. Chance for Adams. Shot, save! Essence, a big save by the Winnipeg Jet goaltender. Babbage, shot from Willard again. Essence comes out to make the save. Read that one perfectly. Craven for Vancouver, back to the point. Babbage, shot high and wide. Pavel Bure tries to keep it in with a backhander. Teppo Numminen there for the Jets. Numminen at the blue line. And the play is blown down. 8:31 to play, third period. Vancouver 2, Winnipeg 2.
Good question. I think young people today. That's the way it is.
Bob Essence, the busier of the two goaltenders. Kurt McLean made a good save on a wraparound attempt. Now watch McLean right here on Darren Shannon. Unlike the Chris King goal, you see McLean got over in time and made the save at the other end. Bob Essence has been very sharp. This shot goes through a maze, it's tipped, he gets his leg on it, and there's Greg Adams, and he just fired it wide.
Shots on goal so far in this third period favor Vancouver 7-4 overall. Vancouver out shooting Winnipeg 28-16. But we are tied on the scoreboard at 2. Shot from Barnes, high and wide. Yuke Lume covers for Vancouver. Dumps it out. Boughton shoots it back in as the Jets have to clear the zone. Ulonov off the sideboards.
You talked about shots on goal. The last time these teams met was here at the Pacific Coliseum, and that was March 18th. The shots were 46-22 in favor of the Vancouver Canucks. But the Winnipeg Jets won their only game of the season with a 5-2 win, and Bob Essensa was very sharp in that. You talked about Dana Merzen being voted the most valuable defenseman on the Vancouver Canucks. He's really come into his own this year. A first-round draft choice of the Hartford Whalers. Moved on to the Calgary Flames, and now here in Vancouver, he's playing to his size, and I think that was the big knock about Dana Merzen. He wasn't physical enough. Well, he has been this year.
Thomas Steen on the face-off against Cliff Ronning to the left of Kirk McLean. Jets win the face-off. Shot from the point. Oh, good save by McLean off of Shannon. Linden now coming forward for Vancouver. Has Courtnall. Courtnall's shot. Saved by Anthony. Shot! Goal! Trevor Linden!
And the crowd here at the Coliseum, they love this. A shot by Courtnall. Look at Linden, goes to the net. He goes right by Thomas Steen. Here's the shot, and look at Courtnall. Lets the shot go, and Bob Essensa can't handle it. There's Trevor Linden. Good shot by Courtnall. It was low enough that Essensa couldn't get the glove on it. There had to be a rebound, and Linden went to the net and got that rebound.
Time of the goal for Trevor Linden, 12-16 to put the Canucks in front 3-2 with 7:44 remaining to play, third period. Dave Babbage dumps it in for Vancouver. Teppo Numminen there to take it for the Jets. Plays it to Housley. Housley behind his own net. Back up to Teppo Numminen. Numminen just shoots it in. Did it. Off the boards. Trying to find Hunter with the pass. Semenov has it for Vancouver. Back to the point for Housley. Numminen, first times, and McLean got a piece of it. Just enough to direct it to the side. Pass in front. Housley pinching in. Housley with a nice move on the sideboards for the Jets. Housley with the pass, trying to find Solani, who was wide open, but he couldn't take the pass. Kachuk to Zhamnov, saved by Kirk McLean. Good action, good pressure from the Winnipeg Jets as they look for the equalizer. Housley backhands it out to center ice. Dana Merzen there for the Canucks, shoots it in. Numminen goes behind his own net, plays it ahead for Housley. Stu Barnes. Barnes with the shot. McLean with the save, and Barnes almost got his own rebound from Kirk McLean. Another shot. Barnes passes in front, trying to find somebody. Nobody there. This is Pavel Bure. High pass for Adams. Somehow comes up with it. Adams loses it. Murray Craven gets into the act. Adams gets it back again and then loses it. And then Craven comes up with it. Chance for Bure, and it goes off the skate of Ulonov. Adams into the corner. Murray Craven chasing after it. Jets come out now. This is King for Stu Barnes. Barnes being watched by Lume.
Ulonov did a great job. He didn't follow the puck, stayed right with Bure, and when the pass came across, he was there to block it.
Shot in by Greg Adams. Cliff Ronning chasing after it, being watched by Thomas Steen. This is Bure. Pass. Courtnall's shot is wide. Gets his own rebound behind the net, but he can't control it. Jets come away. Shannon, rink wide pass. Jets in control, pass in front, intercepted by Ronning, who does a good job in getting back into the zone. Shannon behind the Canucks net. Out front, Kennedy shot, saved by Kirk McLean on the rebound, all the way to Jeff Courtnall at center ice. Lidster ahead to Linden, plays it for Ronning, pass for Jeff Courtnall, couldn't control, and the puck is gloved by Bob Essenza to stop the play. 4:46 remaining third period, Vancouver leading 3-2.
And watch Doug Lidster knocks down his own goaltender. Right here, Lidster knocks McLean down, but he still has enough concentration to get the legs out and make the save.
And a big save it was for the Vancouver Canucks. Kirk McLean, 4-1 record against the Winnipeg Jets over the course of the regular season. The faceoff coming from the circle to the left of Bob Essenza. Hunter, Vaught, and Semenoff out there for the Vancouver Canucks. Teemu Selanne at the Canucks blue line, watched by Babbage, who does a good job in covering the Finnish flash. Teppo Numminen across ice to Phil Housley. 4:28 to play, third period. We're Vancouver in front, 3-2. Shot there from Tkachuk. Housley came in too far, unable to get that pass back to the point. Teppo Numminen behind his own goal. This is Tkachuk. Overskates the pass. Lume to Dana Merzen. Ahead to Semenoff. 3-on-3. Jets changing on the fly. Shot, and Essenza has to make the save.
Just a terrible line change for the Winnipeg Jets, and they almost got burned. The Canucks with a 3-on-2, and it was turned into a 3-on-3, but the Jets were all chasing, and again, Bob Essenza had to come up with a good save.
Trevor Linden has put the Canucks in front at 12:16 of the third period. Jeff Courtnall and Kirk McLean, the Canucks goaltender, drawing the assist as Jets coach John Paddock looking on. Is Captain Kirk.
Kirk McLean now has more points than Teemu Selanne here in the playoffs. And Selanne tonight has been held in check, and the Canucks have done a pretty good job against Selanne all year long. He's only got 2 goals against the Vancouver Canucks in their 7 previous meetings, and tonight has been very ineffective. A couple of rushes here in the third, but nothing past the defense.
I wonder how many fans picked McLean in the pool. Sergei Buck to Ulanov. 3:40 to play. Third period. Vancouver lead by 1. 3-2. Domi backhands it into the corner. Dirt chasing after it. Plays it off the boards. Up ahead to Greg Adams. Jets keep it in. Jets there! And Kirk McLean somehow got his pad around that one as it was directed wide after the shot. Here's Pavel Bure. Tied up neatly by Ulanov, who has done a good job on the Russian rocket. Craven. Pavel Bure comes in to help out. Adams gets the pass, can't get the shot away. Boughton gets it tied up in his skates. And again, Ulanov comes up with it for the Winnipeg Jets. Fires it down the ice. Domi there for Winnipeg. Chris King comes in support. Housley, nice move. Housley has it knocked away by Pavel Bure. Doug Lidster backhands it into the crowd.
Following the game, I get to pick the stars, the Molson 3 stars tonight, and Bob Essenza has kept his team in it. And you know how I like to pick goaltenders, Steve. I think that's maybe why we're looking at Bob Essenza now. But there's been a number of players. Alexei Zhamnov for the Jets. Vancouver Canucks, Murray Craven has played well. Pavel Bure has played well. Now watch Stu Barnes on this rebound. Here comes the rebound. Look at Barnes. Tries to pull it by McLean, and when he does, he pulls it right by the net. He had to pull it a little bit, but he ended up pulling it too far and never got the shot on goal.
I think for one fleeting second he lost the puck in the pads of Kirk McLean, and that may have distracted him just enough that he couldn't get the shot away. Babbage for the Canucks. Fires it in. Hunter knocks it behind the net. Zhamnov is there. Teppo Numminen Pass to Teemu Selanne. Selanne can't do anything with it, but manages to get the pass to Housley, who finds Thomas Steen. Steen working against Babbage. Jamrock keeps it in for the Jets. Jamrock with the shot, deflected in front. Bach tries to clear it, can't. Yuki Lume for Vancouver. 2 minutes to play, third period. Vancouver leading Winnipeg 3-2 on a goal from Trevor Linden. Newman ahead to Shannon. Shannon tied up by Courtnall. This is Stu Barnes losing control. Yuki Lume plays it ahead to Linden. Linden with a shot into the corner. Courtnall chasing after it. Boughton beats him to it. Ronnie back to Courtnall. Courtnall's shot high. Ulanok with a bad pass picked off by Courtnall for Ronnie. Running shot.
Cliff Ronning has played very well tonight and all year long against Winnipeg, but look at this pass by Igor Ulanov. You can't do that in your own zone. Jeff Courtnall picks it off to Cliff Ronning, and Ronning snaps it high on Bob Essensa. Now watch Cliff Ronning all by himself. Nice touch pass by Jeff Courtnall, and no chance for Essensa. Igor Ulanov and Sergei Boughton have had a tough night tonight, and they're fortunate they haven't been burned more. There they get burned, and that puts it away for Vancouver.
Cliff Ronning making it 4-2 for the Canucks. With 1:21 remaining to play, third period. Jeff Courtnall assisting. The time of the goal, 18:31.
Jeff Courtnall with a nice little backhand pass to Cliff Ronning, and the puck was standing on end, and still Ronning could control it enough, and he was in so close to Bob Essens that he was able to get it up and over the Winnipeg goaltender.
Trevor Linden managing to get the puck back to Dirk. Dumped into the Jet zone. Ulanov behind the Winnipeg goal. To Stu Barnes. Cliff Ronning just knocks it back in. Canucks now content to kill off the seconds. Less than a minute to play. Third period. Vancouver in front by 2. Shannon dumps it in. Winnipeg need a couple of goals in a hurry. Teppo Numminen.
And a little message here. Teemu Selanne's not on the ice, even though the Jets do need a couple of goals.
Sergei Boughton fires it into the corner. And it's cleared into the crowd, and that draws a whistle with 31.6 seconds remaining to play in the third period in this opening game of the Smythe Division semifinal between the Jets and the Canucks. Pat Quinn has to be happy with what his team has done here at the Pacific Coliseum tonight. 2-goal lead with just over 30 seconds to play.
And you can see the Winnipeg Jet bench is having words with Terry Gregson, and they're calling a timeout now. As Gregson came over and said, okay, come on, get the guys on the ice, and John Paddock waited as long as he could and then called the timeout. Face-off inside the blue line, and the Jets want it in deep as that came off the glass on the clearing pass by Robert Dirk. And now you see they're going to win the argument. Terry Gregson is moving the face-off deep beside Kirk McLean, and you can see Leon Stickle lining up and John Paddock talking things over. They have to get a goal quickly here after that bad play by Ulanov put them 2 behind.
And while we've got the time, I want to pass along congratulations to CBC sportscaster Barry McDonald. He and his wife Gail had their first child today, a baby boy, Brett William. Gail is doing fine, not so sure about Barry, who was there for the birth of his first son.
Baseball glove in the crib as soon as Barry his son home, I'm sure.
The face-off to the right of Kirk McLean.
Empty net in the Winnipeg Jet zone as the Jets are trying to get close here with 31 seconds left. Thomas Steen out to take the face-off. Mike Eagles takes a lot of draws for the Winnipeg Jets. Troy Murray did when he was a Jet. And now Thomas Steen has taken over that job.
31 seconds to play. Vancouver in front by 2. Steen against Trevor Linden. Steen has Jamnov on his left and Kachuk to his right, along with Teemu Selanne, Housley, and Olason out there for the Jets. Jets get the draw. This is Olason with the shot. McLean save. Trevor Linden has the open net, but he can't get control. Finally, it's cleared by Vancouver. Housley coming back for Winnipeg. The net is wide open. Essenza is on the bench. Here's Semenoff with a chance. Takes the shot. Blocked by Housley. 10 seconds to play. Opening game. Smythe Division semifinal. And the Canucks are going to skate away with a victory as time runs out on the Winnipeg Jets. They win this one 4-2.
Kirk McLean not tested that much as the Winnipeg Jets couldn't get a whole lot of offense, but he was there in the third period when he had to. A couple of big saves, and Bob Essensa kept it close. The Jets gave up just too many quality scoring chances.
Vancouver lost the opener last season to the Winnipeg Jets in the playoffs, but not this one. They defeat Winnipeg by a count of 4-2. Trevor Linden got the winning goal for the Vancouver Canucks at 12:16 of the third period. Vancouver, 2-goal winners here tonight at the Pacific Coliseum.
The Molson 3 stars in Game 1. Trevor Linden, who can be a real force and was tonight with the winning goal. Star number 1, Murray Craven, with his first ever goal for Vancouver. Star number 2, Bob Essensa, star number 3. 4-2 the final as Linden and the Canucks take the early series lead. Tomorrow night, Game 2 of Montreal, Quebec. Next telecast in this series is Wednesday night.
Essensa.
And a good chance for the Vancouver Canucks right away. Jyrki Lumme, who played very well in Game 1, set up Jeff Courtnall in behind the defense. A good crisp pass, tape to tape, and Courtnall with a good chance on Bob Essensa. The Jets forward lines, a couple of little changes in the forward line. Look at Jamnov and Selanne, and instead of Keith
Contenders began to earn their money. Kirk McLean was tested only 22 times in the Vancouver goal, but he made the saves he had to keep the game tied. At the other end, Essensa had come to life. This was a standoff until the Canucks captain took control and delivered Vancouver to victory in the opening game.
Linden now coming forward for Vancouver. Has Courtnall. Courtnall shot. Saved by Essensa. Shot. Goal! Trevor Linden!
Well, the bottom line for our hockey club and any hockey club in the playoffs is winning games, and you know, irregardless of how many shots you stopped or you think you stopped, you know, the bottom line is winning the hockey game, and we fell a little short of that the other night, and hopefully we'll be able to correct things here tonight.
Big money goaltenders winning the playoffs, and you're one of those now. Any pressure from that point of view?
Well, pressure is always, I always thought of pressure as something you put on yourself, and you know, I have something to prove to myself just in terms of playoffs, irregardless of the money issue, and you know, hopefully, you know, with a solid performance by everybody here tonight, we'll be able to turn things around for ourselves.
Spring is in full bloom on the West Coast. The marquee at Pacific Coliseum reads Game 2 of the Smythe Division semifinal series between the Canucks and the Jets. It's perfect, and what fans in this city are hoping will be the first of several playoff series for their team. Inside the Coliseum hangs one conference championship banner. The Canucks won it in '82, the year they went all the way to the Stanley Cup final. They had to play over their heads to get this banner. They believe this year, after finishing first again, that if they just play up to their level of ability, they'll go a long way in these playoffs. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Pacific Coliseum and to the 1993 Stanley Cup playoffs on Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. The series is but one game old, and already the big story of it is how the Canucks have been able to shut down the Jets' offense. That is to say, Teemu Selanne and his line mates. You heard Bob Essensa talk about it. There's no getting around that. He's under pressure tonight because if the Jets can't score, he must at least keep the Canucks off the scoreboard. He kept his team in the game on Monday night and may have to be even better tonight. There are players on both sides of the series who'd like to be even better tonight. The Russian rocket, Pavel Bure, was not as silent as Teemu Selanne, the Finnish flash, on Monday evening. In fact, out here, some are calling Selanne the Finnish crash. That may be a tad unfair after one game of the 76-goal regular season, but as Jeff Jets coach John Paddock himself has said if Selanne's line gets only 3 shots a game, this is going to be a short series. Burry at least set up a couple of goals in Game 1. Prior to the series start, the Canucks were cast in the role of favorites, and why not, having beaten the Jets in 6 of 7 regular season games. So you might say Game 1 followed the form chart, and Game 2 will as well if the Jets can't get Teemu Selanne and his line mates going. Now let's go upstairs to hear from the men who describe the proceedings tonight, Steve Armitage and John Garrett.
Thank you, Scott. Hi, everyone. You know, before this series began, many of the experts, including John Garrett, suggested the Canucks would need major production from their number 2 line if they were going anywhere.
The good news is, Steve, their number 2 line has the number 1 center on the team on the number 2 line. Cliff Ronning has been the key all season long. He's been the most consistent Canuck forward. They had 2 goals and 5 points in Game 1, and they dominated every shift they were on the ice. They were on the ice a lot, and they played well.
I thought in Game 1, the Winnipeg Jets shot themselves in their skate by taking too many penalties. 6 throughout the game, 5 in the first period alone. It hurt them.
It's hard to get your game plan going when you're shorthanded all the time, and self-control in the playoffs is a key. You have to take those little hits and not retaliate, and the Jets didn't do that. They got in trouble early and didn't recover until late in the 3rd period.
And giveaways will always hurt a team big time.
There's only one defenseman on this team that can pass the puck from his own zone up the middle, and that's Phil Housley. Igor Ulanov tried this one. Jeff Courtnall's there to Cliff Ronning, and it ends up in the net. And that wasn't the first time that the Jet defense tried that play up the middle. They were lucky they weren't burned more often.
Okay, John, right now, let's go back to Scotto.
Okay, Steve, it's the 4th night of the Stanley Cup tournament. The other 3 first-round Campbell Conference Series are also on this evening. Let's go first to Detroit to check action between the Leafs and the Wings. 4 minutes in, the Wings on a power play. Steve Yzerman straight across to Nicholas Lindstrom, who 1 times it past Felix Potvin. This is a perfect pass and a perfect shot, and Detroit leads 1-0. Early in the 2nd period, Sergei Fedorov gets it past Dave Ellett to break 2-on-1. Fedorov lets the shot go, beats Potvin high, Wings in front by 2. Still in the 2nd period, Steve Yzerman collects his 2nd of the series. Dino Ciccarelli screening Potvin, and the Wings in front 3-0. Then it looked like the rout was on. Coffey and Yzerman go 2-on-1. A perfect pass here as Yzerman gets his 2nd of the night. Detroit had built a 4-0 lead. In the final minute of the 2nd period, Leafs got one back. Dmitry Mironov takes the pass. 1 times it past Cheveldae. 4-1 Wings after 2. Leafs got back into the game 4.5 minutes into the 3rd. Anderson fakes and feeds Gilmore, who scores his 2nd of the series. Detroit's lead down to 4-2. But Paul Yzerman got that one back for the Wings, and quickly his first shot blocked, puts his 2nd up high, catching Potvin looking. Wings back in front by 3. Detroit bidding to take a 2-0 series lead on the Leafs, and it looks like they'll get it. At Chicago, where the Blues upset the Hawks on Sunday, the Hawks fell behind early tonight. The St. Louis power play, Janney to Brown to Hull, who barely got a stick on it, just long enough to beat Eddie Belfour. Now, this game looked even worse when the Blues were killing off a penalty. Dave Lowry took it away from Chelios, surprised Belfour. Here were the Blues engineering another upset, leading 2-0. What an upset it would be if St. Louis won both games in Chicago. At the Saddledome, it took 1 minute and 11 seconds for the Flames to give up a goal tonight. Jimmy Carson stole the pass and beat Mike Vernon low. Still 1-0 there. And here at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver tonight, the Jets and the Canucks are all set for Game 2 of their Smythe Division semifinal series, the 2nd straight year for this playoff matchup. The Canucks won it in 7 last year. If they win this game tonight, this series could be a whole lot shorter.
Select. All right, who's up front?
How?
I said who?
You said how?
Hey, Gordy Howe, what do you think of Sports Select?
It's like playing again.
Hey, it's fun counting up those wins.
Didn't count too many when you're a coach.
You still might have a job.
Who's in charge here?
Ow. Blue knows a winner.
Blue, hit the showers.
You better have a talk with that pup.
Get in the winner's circle. Make your Sports Select wager.
Okay.
Frozen Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Brought to you by Molson Special Dry, the evolution of beer. By Ford of Canada, where quality is job one, it's working. By Imperial Oil and Esso Associates, proud to be one of the leading sponsors of youth hockey in Canada. And by Pepsi, gotta have it.
Welcome back to Vancouver's Pacific Coliseum and Game 2 in this Smythe Division semifinal between the host Vancouver Canucks tonight and the Winnipeg Jets. Bob Essens will appear in his 69th game for the Winnipeg Jets. His record against the Vancouver Canucks this season, including the opening playoff, 1-5. Kirk McLean making his 56th appearance. He now sports a 5-1 record versus the Winnipeg Jets, including the opening night victory. Dan Marawelli is the referee. Leon Stickle and Pat DePuzzo are the linesmen, and game number 2 is underway. Jyrki Lumme, long lead pass to Cordell. Cordell shot, and an early test for Bob Essens.
And a good chance for the Vancouver Canucks right away. Jyrki Lumme, who played very well in Game 1, set up Jeff Courtnall in behind the defense. A good crisp pass, tape to tape, and Courtnall with a good chance on Bob Essens. The Jets forward lines, a couple of little changes in the forward line. Look at Zhamnov and Solani, and instead of Keith Tkachuk on that line, it's Darren Shannon. And Mike Eagles is in tonight. We have John Druce there, but Druce is out, and Mike Eagles is in tonight, and that will help the Jets defense. They've changed those around. Ulanov and Boughton played together in Game 1, and that won't happen here in Game 2. Jets scratches, Randy Carlyle out again. Lawler, John Druce is the big change for Mike Eagles.
First period just underway. Game 2 here at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver. Canucks in control in the Jets zone. Now Igor Ulanov with a long lead pass down the right side. Pass in front, and Tkachuk got a stick on it, but not enough to do any damage. Steen backhands it in. Canucks clear to the center ice area. This is Dana Merzen for Vancouver. Passes up the left side, finds Greg Adam back into the Canucks zone. Jyrki Lumme. Greg Adams fires it into the corner, gets a good rebound to Pavel Bure. Murray Craven pass in front, shot just wide. Bure was cruising in front, couldn't get a stick on it. And the Jets fire it down the ice, and we'll get the first whistle of the opening period. Icing against the Winnipeg Jets.
And Robert Dirk and Ty Domi have words. John Paddock tried to match the Domi line against Sandlak and Memesso in Game 1. And Pat Quinn, who didn't do a lot of line matching throughout the regular season, matched lines, and he used the Hunter Semenov and Bulk line. The Canuck line's exactly the same as they were in Game 1. Why not stick with a winner? Hunter Semenov and Bulk checked the Solani line and did a very good job, and the defense stays the same. Pat Quinn tried to use Babbage and Didick every time the Solani line was on the ice, and that worked very well. Same scratches for the Vancouver Canucks, and Gino Ojic antsy to get back in. Mike Eagles is a big inspirational leader and a good face-off man for the Winnipeg Jets. He's back in the lineup, playing with a sore back. Said the pain has lessened, and that's why he's playing tonight.
Jets win the face-off. Scoop behind the net by Boughton. Solani overskates it. Canucks keep it in the Jets zone. Fired behind the net. Gary Vaught. Semenov picks it up. Fires in front. The shot is wide from Tim Hunter. Pass in front. Nobody was there for Vancouver. Cleared by the Winnipeg Jets.
And much like Game 1, this checking line for the Canucks had the better scoring chances in Game 1, and they get the best scoring chance early in the game against the Jets' big line.
Another icing call against Winnipeg. 18-19 remaining to play opening period. Still looking for the first goal. Pat Quinn, Coach of the Year last year in the National Hockey League, as he was in 79-80 with the Philadelphia Flyers.
And you can see that there. That
team he had with the Flyers had 35 games without a loss. I remember playing them one night in Hartford, and we had them late in the game, 4-3. They tied it up, and then we hit a crossbar with about 10 seconds left. We were all looking forward to trying to break that streak. It never happened. Good disciplined teams, and that's a trademark of Pat Quinn. Disciplined team in Philadelphia and a very disciplined team here in Vancouver.
Canucks have now got the line of Peter Nedved at center with Sandlak and Momesso on the wings. Winnipeg captain Dean Kennedy goes back to pick it up for the Jets. Diddick ahead to Sandlak, playing with a very tender right hand. Nedved tipped that forward. Essenza comes out to play it. Olofsson backhands it to Tkachuk. Ahead to Thomas Steen. Steen fires it in. Momesso ahead to Sandlak, who finds Nedved. Nedved, backhand pass, shot! Oh, and that was close for the Winnipeg Jets. Pass in front, cleared. Nedved backhands it in. Lume pinching in, gets into the play, shoots! Essenza with the save. Borsato just flips it up, relieves the pressure as the Winnipeg Jets change on the fly. This is Jyrki Lume. Dumps it in. Ulonov off the glass. And he takes a hit after that from Trevor Linden. That's what the fans are warming up to, the way the Canucks have been using the body in the opening minutes of this first period.
Trevor Linden had a big hit at the start of game one on Tempo Numminen. Took a penalty for it, but it really did help the Canucks get involved in the game.
And then Courtnall takes a hit from Ulonov. Pass in front, and running, unable to direct the shot at Essenza. Takes a funny bounce off the glass. This is Trevor Linden. Had one of the goals for the Canucks in the opener. Courtnall with the shot, and Essenza had that one labeled. 16:31 to play, opening period. Still looking for the first goal.
Take a moment to compare the 93 Ford Taurus GL sedan and wagon to the imports. The Taurus comes well equipped with over 24 standard features, including air, power windows, and available anti-lock brakes. You'll also discover not just one, but 2 airbags. The price? Thousands less than the imports. Wagon or sedan, just $19,995. No wonder Taurus is the best-selling car in North America.
Quality is job one. It's working.
I'm feeling empty. I'm feeling blue. I know it's over, and I know it's through. Man, now that's the blues.
Next time you want to die of Pepsi, Ray, all you got to do is ask.
Now that's the right one, baby.
At Joe Louis in Detroit, the Wings cruising on a 5-2 lead over Toronto with a minute and a half to go. Watch Dallas Drake, number 28, go to the net and take the centering pass and snap it by Felix Potvin. Kozlov and Kennedy with the assists. Wings win 6-2, and now they have a 2-0 series lead.
Scott here at the Pacific Coliseum. The Canucks and Jets are now playing 4-on-4. Ulonov is in the penalty box for Winnipeg. Jeff Courtnall for the Vancouver Canucks.
Both get roughing penalties. Jeff Courtnall went right at Ulonov, tried to draw a penalty, but took one himself, and Ulonov responded, and he went off for the Jets.
Sergei Boughton plays it off the boards to Housley. Jamlock. Solani. One shot in the opener. There's a shot, the first on Kirk McLean from Boughton, well out. An easy one for the Canuck goaltender. Now downstairs to Scott Oak with an update.
Steve, at the Saddledome, the Flames are back on even terms with Los Angeles in Game 2. Good control here by the Flames. McGinnis to Roberts, who spots Joel Otto, and Otto beats Kelly Rudy. So Calgary and L.A. tied at 1 now on Otto's first of the playoffs, 5 minutes into the second period.
Almost a must-win for the Calgary Flames after losing the opener at home, headed to Los Angeles. They can't afford to be down 2-0.
1:28 remaining in the penalties to Courtnall and Ulonov. Teemu Solani Plays it back to Teflon Numanum. Fellow Finn. Jamnov takes a hit from Didick. This is Dave Babbage, a playoff veteran in the Canuck lineup. Jamnov tied up at the line, gets it to Selanne. Selanne tries the fake, doesn't work. Didick not buying. Selanne fires it behind the net. Comes out in front, and McLean forced to play. Gary Vaughn.
And in forechecking on that play, Phil Housley almost stole it from Gary Vaughn.
Less than 40 seconds remaining into the penalties now. This is Thomas Steen for the Jets at the Canucks blue line. Broken up there neatly by Jyrki Lumme. Steen backhands it behind. Lumme. This is Murray Craven.